This Marquee Dragon video is sponsored by Shattered Crystal, game codes, and items.
Hello, I'm Marcus Eikenberry, and I'm on what you'd call a road trip. Currently, I'm in the Grand Canyon, and this is a 12-part video that has to do with a gentleman named Nicholas Patterson, who's at Deakin University in Australia. He's working on his Ph.D. in virtual theft, and virtual theft is right up my market. So I just figured, let's make this a little bit exciting. So I've got a few questions from Nicholas, and I'd like to answer them. And this first question is, what is my position in the virtual goods industry, and do I have any experience? Well, let me tell you, I have just a little bit of experience. So I have been in the virtual goods industry since 1997, when the birth of Ultima Online, and we decided that, we noticed that a few people were selling stuff on eBay, and that they were selling virtual goods. These are goods that are stuff like gold, swords, even houses. So I got my start when I thought, I wonder if I could actually sell something. And I had a couple of extra accounts that in November of '97, I auctioned off on eBay for a total of $2,400. When I did that, I realized that there is a market here. And so that's where I got my start. My journey continues way beyond that, because now it's the year 2010, and I'm still in the industry. We don't do anything that violates the terms of service, but back then there was no terms of service. Well, I shouldn't say there was no terms of service. There was just no wording about the sale of virtual goods. And so in that time, we sold a lot of stuff for Ultima Online, and then we did stuff too for like World of Warcraft and everything, stuff that was in violation of the terms of service, but now we don't do that anymore. We just focus primarily on legitimate markets, and these are markets that are, how do you say, I guess they are first markets instead of secondary markets. They're markets that are provided by the game publishers, and in many cases we work on behalf of the game publishers. So we took something that at first was unknown, everybody thought it was really cool, which then became a violation of the terms of service after lawyers got involved several years later. And then we went and got into like World of Warcraft and stuff, and now we've stopped doing that. We're actually doing primarily code sales, and we do a lot of white label work for video game publishers, and what that is that you may be going through our systems whenever you make a purchase and not even know it. So life is good right now. Things are working out well. So let's take a look at the next question that Nick has here. Let's see here. Well, I kind of answered it. So he asks, have you ever played in a virtual world game or environment? Well, yes. So like I said, Ultima Online, but also we did a bunch of other games, and gosh, I must have played 40 or so MMOs, to where I had at least 40 hours into them. I probably have 5 or 6 where I had hundreds of hours into them, and I probably have 3 that I have thousands of hours into. So yes, I've played in these markets, and in all of them there has been some sort of virtual currency exchange, and whether that's endorsed or not. And so the last question in this section is about whether or not the games really allowed virtual currency trade. And the answer is no, pretty much across the board. In Ultima Online, like I mentioned, they didn't have any terminology or anything stopping you from doing it at the beginning. In fact, they thought it was really cool. I remember press releases going out, seeing stuff on CNN, Wall Street Journal, stuff like that. And from there, they did make it a violation, but myself and several other brokers who had been acting honestly we were grandfathered in and allowed to continue until it just went like 10 years later to where I actually got banned for it. But that was just because they'd been through so many producers that they didn't, the information doesn't get passed down. And by the time we were on, I don't know, the 10th producer of the game for Ultima Online, they had no clue who I was or what we were doing or any of those agreements that were originally set up. And so that was fine. That was kind of the end of an era for Ultima Online. The subscriber base now is pretty low. So we also did World of Warcraft. That was a little bit different. Yes, we did sell some gold in there. We also promoted the use of bots in the game. And that, in fact, got me brought up in front of got me deposed by Blizzard's lawyers. Ended up spending a day under their questioning in a legal setting. And that was on a case with Michael Donnelly of Glider, and I forget, MDY Industries was the name of their company. So they were sued by World of Warcraft, and they were World of Warcraft was successful in suing them. I didn't agree with that. They got them on copyright and not on based on that they didn't want those actions in the game. They got them basically on a technicality. The game, when you load it up, it loads itself into memory. And so the Glider application was actually reading the memory and then using that for doing the actions that it took. And they used that as a DMCA violation, stating that you can go ahead and walk in front of us. It'll be part of the show. So they used that as a DMCA violation, and the violation, making an illegal copy of the game in memory in order to bust them. And they won a $6 million judgment. Pretty hefty. It went all the way through the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it probably won't go to the Supreme Court, although that's still, I haven't heard one way or another. Anyway, game companies don't like RMT, and they do anything they can to stop it, and I thought botting is one of those aspects to stop it, both for the RMT aspects, gold farming, but also because they didn't want the actions in the game. Anyway, that's it for this segment. Who knows where I'll see you next. When